looked as though the Steelers would miss the playoffs altogether. But now they've got a healthy quarterback, a hungry defense, and they're one win away from securing a playoff berth. And it may be this man's last time out of the chute here at Heinz. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to Fox. The Lions travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. And welcome to the broadcast booth. Ron Pitts along with my partner, Tim Ryan. And for Bill Cowher's Steelers, well, they've almost gotten into the playoffs. They need to win today to get there, and I think they have a lot of momentum. The run game is going. The quarterback is healthy now. The offense is moving, and you see this defense, which is outstanding.
Have you seen these guys over the last 3 weeks? On defense, Pitsy, they have been terrific. And really, it all starts in that front seven with the nose guard, Casey Hampton, and that 3-4 defense. He controls the line of scrimmage as good as any nose tackle in the game, and it allows those linebackers like Joey Porter to run and hit. 3 sacks last week for Porter. Larry Foote, same deal for him. He is playing his best football. And on the other side of the ball, a guy playing his best football is the quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. He's been terrific over the last 3 weeks, not throwing interceptions. And I think most importantly, Pitsy, Roethlisberger is finally getting healthy.
Meanwhile, for Dick Jauron, his 5th game as interim head coach, got his first win last week. And he's gone through a lot. This is almost an impossible win situation for him. They've had changes at the quarterback position, changes in the offense. And I don't think there's a team that is really happy to see the new year like the Detroit Lions right now.
I'll agree with that. But I don't think the guys are going to lay down today, really. Exactly. And talking to the players yesterday, I think to a man they're going to come out and give great effort for Dick Jauron, who they really have a lot of support for. If they don't come out and play hard today, Ronnie, it's going to get painfully obvious against a very physical, smash-mouth Pittsburgh football team.
And a few seconds ago, they introduced the bus for what could be the last time here at Heinz Field.
And at running back, the 5th all-time leading rusher in NFL history from Notre Dame, ride the bus, number 36, Jerome Bettis.
First game of the 2006 NFL season. And it's good to be here at Heinz Field. Ron Pitts, Tim Ryan, and Jennifer Hammond. What we called, Tim, a perfect day for football. Don't let the 38 scare you.
Is there a better atmosphere? Look at that crowd. Kidding me? Awesome.
And they're awesome because of this right here. They know that a win today will mean that their team is in the playoffs. They will get that wild card berth, the 6th and final spot. A loss and a Kansas City win would mean Pittsburgh will be out.
Correct. A loss and a Kansas City loss would mean Pittsburgh would still achieve that number 6 seed.
They'll win the 3-man tiebreaker, so to speak. Detroit has won the toss. They will receive. Reed will kick it away for the Steelers. Eddie Drummond is deep. Not much going on this year for Eddie Drummond. Went to the Pro Bowl last year. Had 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. 0 this year. The Steelers have not lost at home to Detroit since 1955. Drummond gets a block outside and gets it out to close to the 30-yard line. Clint Krewalt on the tackle. Joey Harrington, 11th start this year. 4-6 as a starter this year, and this could be his last game as a Lion. The rumors are starting to circulate.
Any way you look at it, Joey Harrington, whether it's here or somewhere else, Ronnie, he's playing for an audition for a job in 2006. And he will have opportunity, believe it, whether Detroit or somewhere else.
Remember, a former first-round pick. Once you're a first-rounder, always a first-rounder. He'll pass right out of the box. A little high intended for Vines. Up front, consistent throughout the year. In some areas, inconsistent in others. Dominic Raiola, you mentioned Tim, playing very solid up front at the center position. Outside, more inconsistencies. Roy Williams dropping a lot of balls. He leads the team in receptions. Made a nice catch last week in that win over the New Orleans Saints. Kevin Jones inserted back into the lineup. He's been out 3 of the last 4 games with an elbow injury. 2nd down and 10. Shotgun. They'll give it to Jones. Jones cuts it back and pounds it out. Excuse me, that's Bryson. The Steelers defense up front, Casey Hampton, very solid at the nose tackle position. Flanked by Smith and Kimo Van Olhoffen. The linebacking crew. Larry Foote, the leading tackler. Porter, the AFC Defensive Player of the Week with 3 sacks last week against Cleveland. He will go to the Pro Bowl.
Year 3, Pro Bowl number 2. Not too bad for Troy Polamalu.
3rd and 4. And you see Polamalu there at 43. The quick hit outside, and it's incomplete. Broken up nicely by Bryant McFadden, the 2nd-round pick out of Florida State. And that'll bring on the punting unit for the Lions.
Ronnie, Joey Harrington, just like last week, inaccurate to start the football game. And I think the more that they can settle him down with some of those short-range passes that he has yet to hook up on, the more confidence he will have. And as Dick Jerome told us, the key for them today, no doubt, is running the football. One attempt in that first drive, that's not going to get it done.
Nick Harris punts it away. Randall L. is deep. He'll take it at the 19. And there's a lane. Randall L. 1 man to beat. And he beat him. No flags down. 81 yards.
Ronnie, what a terrific job by everybody blocking him up in front of Antoine Randall L. Dick Duran told us yesterday this was his biggest fear, was not covering kicks early in this football game. Randall L. is going to see a little crease, and then watch the block right here by Crewell, just holding up his guy that springs Randall L., and then the kicker not doing a good job of pushing that runner to the sideline. Randall L. punches it in for 6. Well, he's fast, isn't he?
You think? Reed pushes it through. The 2nd return of the year for L, the 2nd longest of his career. What a way to start the new year.
Fox NFL Sunday, sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
Randall L., the 4th career punt return for a touchdown. And you mentioned that Bill Cowher talked about that during the week. Got to be good on special teams in this game.
That was the deal, I think, during that 3-game slide about a month ago, is, you know, the penalties, the turnovers, and all that. But Bill told us special teams, we were not playing very good on special teams. And Bill, being an old special team guy, very important for them to get it right. And boy, Crewell got it right that time with a real good block on Casey Fitzsimmons to spring Randall out.
That 4th career is a Steelers all-time. Eddie Drummond busting out. Look at Eddie. Eddie's saying, I got a little on the other side for you. 33 yards on the return, tackled by Brad Kiesel. Let's go back to that return.
And he does a good job of just playing center field. Bobbles it a little bit, now takes off. You see the crease. Here's the block. That's the key block. Crewell pancaking Casey Fitzsimmons. And then coaching tip on the punter, Ronnie. Use that sideline as your friend. Push him to the sideline. If he's going to cut back, make him cut back into some help.
Every good punt return usually accompanies 2 moves, and you make a 3rd move, you're probably going to score. That was the 3rd move, even though it was on the punter. It needs 6 points early here for the Steelers. Bell filling in nicely throughout the year for the departed Plaxico Burress. A lot of people felt that wouldn't happen. Jones with a spin move, and he gets a couple. And this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, they have cranked it up in the last few weeks. Number 2 against the rush, giving up a paltry 3.4 yards a crack. That's number 1 in the NFL.
Yeah, and if you watch them and just watch them build off of every performance, I would say last week, I mean, not even 200 yards total offense for the Cleveland Browns in that game. And Dick LeBeau has got his defense running, getting healthy and peaking at the right time.
2nd down and 9. Go back to the run. Jones, he goes backwards. And that's what we're talking about. He may have lost on that one. And there's a look at that tempered steel, as we like to say.
What's important at the end of the season when the weather starts to get cold?
Can you run and can you stop the run?
That's right.
And that's why a guy like Jerome Bettis has been so big throughout his career, especially up here in the 10 years in Pittsburgh. They put that ball on the ground, and they pound on you. 3rd down and 10. Shotgun for the Lions. They bring 4. There it is. A good catch and a first down. Scotty Bynes. His 37th catch of the year. That's good for 17.
Ronnie Vines is just going to run a square in. The corner's going to let him go. You see, Taylor lets him go now. He's going to break in front of the safety and takes a big shot from Hope, but hangs on to the football. Good job by Joey Harrington, just hanging in there, letting his guy clear and throwing a strike for a first down.
1st and 10. They go to a 2 tight end set. Pressure, sack. James Ferrier with his 2nd sack of the season.
This is what the Steelers do in terms of confusing blitzes and attacking pressure. Here's Von Alhoffen. He's going to come in here. He's going to take the tackle. Porter's going to come outside. The backer's going to come get him. Ferrier, scot-free up there in the B gap to get himself a sack on Joey Harrington. They could not recover in time. That's the confusion that those 2nd-level blitzers bring to the table against offensive linemen out of that 3-4 look.
A loss of 9. 2nd and 19. Backside nearly intercepted. Ike Taylor had a beat on that one. That ball intended for Roy Williams. Will bring up 3rd down.
I think it's kind of par for the course. Joey Harrington late on the throw. As you watch Roy, he's out here and going to squeeze in, and then Ike's just going to jump over the top. If that ball is thrown sooner, there's a much better opportunity. See, Roy's waiting for it.
No,
that's just late. Gives the corner an opportunity to undercut it. Joey's lucky that wasn't picked.
Yeah. 3rd down and 19. Middle of the field of Pollard. Pollard has it, and he's still going. 1st down, Lions. That was a great throw. That's good for 27 yards.
Pollard's been Joey's guide lately, and you'll see him. He's going to come from over here and just get to the middle of the field. But watch the blitz pickup over here on the side. And that's a good job by Bryson to pick up Troy Polamalu. Nice throw by Joey Harrington over the top of Porter. Right to Pollard.
Pollard, 11 seasons in Indianapolis. They brought him here to Detroit, hoping to scrape up a little of that high-powered Colts offense. Jones with a breakout. Uses a stiff arm, gets the first down. Nice pickup by Kevin Jones. Pushed out of bounds finally by James Ferrier. A pickup of 12.
Couple of things happen here. They caught Pittsburgh in a blitz off the edge, and they're going to blitz. The corner's going to come out from over here, and then Joey Porter's going to take a slant inside. They'll wall him, and Jones squeezes up in between Porter and the blitzing corner. You see Hope, the safety, come off the edge. As Porter got washed down and he came off the edge, Jones found a little crease.
Came a little too high. Offset I formation. Jones in the backfield. Play action to Jones. Looking to the corner. There it is. Touchdown, Lions. Pollard wide open. What a drive by the Lions. After the punt return, they answer. They counter-punch. Come down. And Harrington goes 11 yards to Pollard for the 6 points.
Ronnie, it looks just like the corner gets picked right here by this outside receiver. He's going to come here and get a pick route on him, which is going to free Pollard right to the corner. You see how the corner got stuck inside and got picked? And Pollard comes up with the touchdown scot-free on the corner route.
Pollard came into the game with 42 catches and 11-yard average. 2 big catches on that drive there.
Big drive by Joey Harrington throwing darts.
Absolutely. Hanson, who hit the game winner last week against the Saints, he picks it up here, and we are tied here in Pittsburgh. And wouldn't it just be the luck of the Steelers right now, since they need the win, that the Lions come up with the best drive, arguably of the season, or one of the best.
Against the number 3 defense in all the NFL.
There you go.
The key was Joey Harrington. I mean, they had one good run, but Joey was so precise to his tight end on that series.
Hansen will kick it away. Morgan back deep, along with Coakley. This will be Morgan. Morgan spinning again. Got a nice dance going. A very nice dance. Dances all the way out to the 26-yard line. Big Ben on his way out. Ben Roethlisberger. First look at him in the Steeler offense coming up next.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the new Sprint, the official telecommunications service sponsor of the NFL. By the all-new 2006 Jeep Commander, it's your world, take command. By FedEx Express, international shipping made easy. And by WebMD, better information, better health.
Happy holidays and a happy new year to everyone. We are back in Pittsburgh. I almost forgot, this is the first look at the Steelers offense today. The big punt return by Antoine Randall. In case you're just joining us, that was 81 yards. The quick pitch, Willie Parker, the guy who can get from 0 to 60 in about 5 steps. He picks up 5. And Ben Roethlisberger with a 103.4 quarterback rating. That's the best in franchise history.
Well, they only ask him to throw the ball 14 to 18 times a game. And I think the key with him is he had that knee injury that he's dealt with. He's had the thumb that he's been dealing with. Big Ben is finally healthy, and it's certainly showed up over the last 3 weeks on the field.
2nd down and 5. We'll set the rest of the offense next. Parker again, and he should have the easy first down. He does. Up front, they will send 2 to the Pro Bowl. The left guard, Alan Faneca, along with Jeff Hardings, the former Lion. They will both go over to Hawaii. Outside, the backs and receivers, you've seen Willie Parker. He's having a nice little year, but Hines Ward needs 65 yards to make it his 5th straight 1,000-yard receiving season. And you've already seen from or heard from Randall L., who has returned the punt for a touchdown. Heath Miller in motion. Blitz, they pick it up at the last minute, looking for the comeback. And the throw back across his body, incomplete, intended for Heath Miller. Let's go out to Los Angeles and check in with James Brown for the first time this new year. JB.
All right, Happy New Year, Ron and Tim. Take a look. Jake Delhomme hooking up with Ricky Prohl on the 12-yard strike, capping a 9-play, 80-yard drive. A Carolina win, and they're in. Haven't won in Atlanta since '97. They're up 7-0. Chiefs on top of the Bengals, hoping that Pittsburgh would lose because then the Chiefs would be in with the win. Back to Ron and Tim.
And here's a look at the Carolina playoff scenario. And as JB said, that's exactly what the Chiefs are hoping for. A loss by Pittsburgh here and a win on their end. Parker for a few more.
Down by 96, James Hall.
He got 5.
Boy, watching Willie Parker this year, and he had an ankle injury earlier in the year. He's a different back than he was at the beginning of the season. Now, he's always had that physical ability, and he can go coast to coast and can make all that happen. But a lot of sideways running early in the year. And you talk to Jerome Bettis, you talk to Bill Cowher, and the guys on this football team, they said Willie now understands that north and south is the way to get it done.
Right.
Think 4, get 40 when you run up the gut. He's really played well.
3rd down and 5. They'll go to a 4 wide out look. That's Wilson in motion. Pressure late, they pick it up going outside. It's complete to Quincy Morgan. No, it's not. They wave it away.
Roethlisberger's pass intended for Morgan, incomplete.
Morgan couldn't bring it in.
Very nice job of R.W. McQuarters, who's sitting right back here, because you're going to see Morgan. He's going to run this corner route, and it's a good throw, and he goes up and gets it. But, Ronnie, you must possess the football past the ground. In other words, the ground can cause an incompletion. That's exactly what happened there with Quincy Morgan.
Good effort by McQuarters.
Very good job by McQuarters.
Play is not over until it's over. Rip that ball out of there. Bardaki will kick it away. Eddie Drummond standing at the 15. Nice high kick. Fair catch called late at the 18-yard line by Drummond, and that's where the Lions will take over. We are tied up 7-7 here in the first quarter. And the last drive by the Lions was a good one. They went all the way down the field. They started off with a quick shot to Vines, and then Pollard got into it. He hits one there, and then he gets the touchdown. They just lost him in the coverage.
Joey was very good on that drive. You know what I got out of it was that historically Joey Harrington has not exploited the middle of the field. And when he does, to me, he's a different quarterback. Remember the Arizona game we did earlier in the year where he had 3 touchdown passes to Roy Williams. He took the middle of the field, and then everything else started to open up. Maybe that'll be the story for Joey today.
You see the total yards there. I'm sure a lot of people shocked by that. Jones lowers his shoulder, still running. Bangs his way out to about the 24-yard line. Stay tuned to Fox after our game. It's game 2 of the doubleheader. The NFC East, Washington will look to cement a playoff spot versus Philadelphia, or the Bears taking on the Vikings.
I heard Brunell's going to start today with that knee injury, so he should go. I don't know if that Washington team can be stopped right now. I mean, what they're doing with that running game and Portis, and then defensively against Mike McMahon at quarterback today, watch out.
And like they were talking about on the pregame show, a lot of controversy in Chicago with the starting of Orton instead of Rex Grossman, mainly because the center, Olin Kreutz, won't go. There's a shot inside, and that's complete. That's Roy Williams. Williams with his first catch of the day. Had a great catch last week against the Saints on 4th and 17 with 37 seconds left. That led to the game-winning field goal.
Ronnie, Joey is on his game today because you're going to see both of these guys blitz, and what happens, the voided area right in the middle, Joey Harrington knows it's there, filters it over the top right to Roy Williams. See, those guys blitz the middle of the field. There's obviously going to be a void there. That's what Joey talked about yesterday. He found it.
Artus Penner checks in at the tailback position behind Schlesinger. Play is stopped. We'll hear from Walt Coleman.
False start, 65, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Damian Woody, the right guard. A lot of talking going on from Joey Harrington. Let's listen in. I guess that zone blitz concept will make you do that, huh, Tim?
Make you want to go on a second long count, too, with the way that pass rush gets off the ball for Pittsburgh.
1st and 15. They bring only 4, drop everybody else. They throw to Jones, and Jones, he won't make it to the 30. Ferrier coming up on the tackle. You just look throughout the history of this franchise, Tim, and the linebackers have always been active.
And you look at Ferrier, and he's finally getting healthy, I think. I mean, they've historically, as you said, have had very, very good linebackers. This guy was up for defensive MVP in the 04 season. Missed a couple games earlier in the year with a knee injury. And then talking to Coach Cower and some of the coaches, they feel that James Ferrier is finally now getting some of the explosion back in that lower body. Nice play he made on the screen play.
2nd down and 13. Incomplete, intended for Vines. Last week, a big win for Pittsburgh in the sense that they had to keep on winning after stumbling in November, 41-0 over the Cleveland Browns. And a big day on the ground, being able to run the ball, but the defense just showed up and crushed it.
It was collectively their best game, offense, defense, and special teams. And Coach Cower told us this, Ronnie, that they feel that maybe they're better right now at this point of the season than they were last year because they've got a completely different mindset. They feel like a desperate football team.
3rd and 13. Pressure. They lose one, and it's caught. Bryson can run. Deshae Townsend brings him down. There's a flag. It could be a face mask penalty against Pittsburgh. 63 yards. And a nice ad-lib by Joey Harrington.
Oh, he looks terrific.
Great awareness by Bryson to scramble as he scrambled.
Grasp him in the face mask. 26. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Ronnie, great job of Joey Harrington eluding the outside pass rush. Now watch the little pump fake there, just enough to get the hand up, to draw that defense up. Bryson keeps scrambling down the football field. The deal is this: if you're shallow, go deep. If you're deep, come shallow. Bryson was shallow. He ran deep. Joey sold it with a little pump fake and dropped it right on the money.
There's a face mask, and Bryson leads all NFL running backs with 21 third down catches. And you can see why. There's a look at the red zone offense. Jones trying to punch it in. He's still moving, goes backwards at about the 1 yard line. That's where they'll mark it.
Boy, heck of a block by Damian Woody. This offensive line, they've come to play, picking up the blitz, moving guys off the ball. Watch the push. Damian Woody's going to get on Chris Hope. And they're going to take him 5 yards off the ball. Puts a lot of pressure on that strong safety to get up and hit that 230-pound running back right in the mouth.
Tim, in this defense, any 34 defense, even though more of a goal line look here, that nose guard has got to be stopped. Second and goal. Play action, wide open, Schlesinger, touchdown, Detroit. Another good drive by the Detroit Lions, and the first touchdown of the year for fullback Corey Schlesinger.
And Schlesinger's going to come out here. Watch foot. He's in no man land. He doesn't know if he wants to go get Schlesinger or filter back to the tight end. And Joey just executes it perfectly. I mean, he had both guys right there. Took the guy short. Joey's playing terrific so far in this game, making all the right throws and all the right decisions.
We talked about the help that the Kansas City Chiefs need right now. They've got to take care of their house, but they also need for the Lions to beat the Steelers. And the Lions are taking a step in that direction, up by 7 here in the first quarter. Seven plays, 81 yards, and another touchdown here in the first quarter for the Lions.
Joey's quarterback rating's only about 80 points higher than it has been through the course of his career. I mean, he's a 68 QB rating guy coming into the game. Look what he's done so far. On the money.
And talking to him last night, you know, we posed the question, well, you know, in the offseason, if you stay, will you be extra hard on these guys about coming back in the offseason and getting your receivers and working together? He said, what makes you think I haven't already tried to do that?
I think he got a little offended.
He got a little testy.
He's put the work in. Guys haven't shown up, and that being in the offseason and maybe the sense of accountability. You start talking about Mariucci and all that stuff, but Joey certainly said he's tried.
Coakley with a breakout. Coakley taken down by the kicker. 63 yards. The special teams have come to play for the Steelers today.
It's not all the return guy. I want you to watch the blocking. We saw Krewald do it last time. This time it's going to be Dan Kreider right here, number 35. That's the key block that springs Coakley up inside, and then Hanson's got to take him down.
Ricardo Coakley. Second-year man. Backup defensive back, cornerback, doing it on special teams. He's going to get some flack from that one, letting the kicker take you down. Pump and go. Going the backside, it's incomplete. Flag goes down. Hines Ward, the intended receiver. Bly on the coverage. We wait for the call from Walt Coleman. The Lions with 14 points already. They haven't scored more than 14 points in a road game the entire season.
Ronnie, and I think the officials are conferencing here trying to figure out if, in fact, Dre Bly PI'd or it was inadvertent.
Defense. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
That's a pass interference, and let's go to Los Angeles for this game-breaking James Brown.
Hey, Ron Pitts, you know the Buccaneers need a win, and they clinch the division, the NFC South. Chris Sims hooking up with Joey Galloway, 7-yard strike, 7-0 Bucks in that game. You know all too well how important it is for Pittsburgh to win. All tied right now between the Chiefs and Bengals. Chiefs hoping the Steelers will slip up. Back to Ron and Tim.
Boy. This is what you want on New Year's Day, huh, Tim? The end around, Antoine Randall L. No place to go. Rooting good in on the tackle, along with Corey Redding. And there's a look at the Buccaneers playoff scenario. They've clinched the berth, but they can clinch that title with a win or a Carolina loss.
And I believe they can clinch a number 3 if they win. They own the tiebreaker over the Giants. The Giants will then be a 4 seed.
Of course, the Giants won last night. They beat Oakland. Wrap up the division. And they'll have a week off. 2nd and 9. Kreider motions out of the backfield. Plenty of time to throw. Complete. That's Miller. The first-round pick. Let's see where they mark him. I believe they're going to mark him. Yeah, they give it to him. Yep. They mark his progress, and that'll be a first down.
And this is hard on a defense the way, because you're going to see Heath Miller here. He's going to come here. One guy's going to come here. Another guy's going to come out here in a little star route. And Heath Miller just sits down right in the middle of the zone where he should. Turns around, and Ben finds him down to about the 7-yard line. This guy is more than just an average tight end. I mean, they talk about Heath Miller as a rookie, and his numbers have been super. They envision big things for him.
And that roar from the crowd was because of that man, Jerome Bettis, and he'll get the call. And the bus squeezes it down to about the 3 or 4 yard line. Talking to Jerome on Friday, he said, you know, I'm going to assess everything physically. And as far as my role on the team is after the season as to whether I retire. But, man, the bus has rolled over a lot of people.
Not bad for a guy who thought he was coming into the league as a fullback. Huh? Not only has he been huge for the Steelers, Ronnie, he's been huge for the entire National Football League. What a guy.
2nd and goal. The play-action bus. Pop pass. Can't hold on. Ward usually catches those. Gracie Walker came over late with a hit.
This has been part of what's made them so good over the last few weeks. The play action. Linebackers bite on it. Ben puts it in a perfect spot. Right through Hines' head. Hits him right in the grill in the face mask. You don't see that, as you said, Ronnie, very often with Hines Ward.
And the Steelers lead the NFL in goal-to-goal scoring percentage. There it is. 21 touchdowns. That is probably, Tim, the most important stat offensively when it comes down to it. Can you punch it in after you've done all the work at midfield? They'll go inside to the handoff. Haynes can't get there. Nice play by Hall. He's there at the linebacking spot. Excuse me, defensive end spot.
What a reaction by James Hall. He might as well be playing linebacker. He's out here. He's going to pop inside on a little move and then get back out and get himself a wrap-up and just drive Verron Haynes back. You see him fly inside. Now watch him turn on Faneca, get in on the play, wait for some help, and keep Verron Haynes out of the end zone. That is awesome by James Hall.
And look at that help from Kanoy Kennedy. 4th and goal. Bettis in the backfield. 2-man in motion. Bettis, he's got to get it in. He gets it in. Touchdown, Steelers. No flags down.
That's why he says he's the F-150. You don't need to put him in the shop. He gets a little nick. He just rolls. I want you to look at 2 blocks by this guy, Dan Kreider, and by Heath Miller. A kick out, a nice seal down by Kreider, and then the bus at about 260. He's not going to go backwards. And 2 terrific blocks, and then Jerome runs over one guy and punches it in for 6.
His 7th touchdown of the year, and obviously a reduced role as Reed puts the extra point through. He said, yeah, I'm an F-150. I'm not that Ferrari. Don't worry about me. I may not look good. I'll have some mud on my wheels, but just start me up and I'll go.
That's the thing. He's so shifty. I mean, for a guy his size, his feet is where it's always been. And you can just see a little skip hop to the side right there and then burst up into the crease.
And you got to love what he said about working with the younger players. I mean, obviously, they're in transition. They've got Parker working in front of him, and you got Verron Haynes working also on the other side. He says, my goal is to make every backup a starter. I want the young kids to be ready to play at any time, because at any time I could go down, someone else could go down. They got to be ready.
What does that tell you about Jerome Bettis?
That's winning attitude.
Exactly, winning attitude, and I think he feels pretty comfortable in his own skin. Veterans and young players, I mean, a lot of guys look over their shoulder in this league and do not want to help the guys out behind him. He has been huge for I mean, you can go back to even Amos Zaraway and trying to help those guys out. Really from the get, when his role changed, he's been terrific for the young guys behind him.
You know, I'm not so sure that I would want to push him out the door just yet. Now, if he wants to go, that's one thing, but that guy means so much to everyone in the locker room.
Well, they all, not one guy has a bad thing to say about him, and they told us that to a man during our meetings on Friday. I mean, they just respect him, not only for what he does on the field, but off the field. I mean, he's friends with most every guy on this team and has relationships with everybody. He's just your consummate professional and shows those youngsters how to live the game.
When he was going through the hard times, or the quarterback Ben Roethlisberger was going through the hard times last year, he said, I confided in one guy, and that was Jerome Bettis. Drummond taken down quickly. Nice tackle. Clint Freewalt. Rocks rips.
And Ronnie, I think, I mean, we know about this team. If they get down early and don't hold up in the secondary, there's problems. And we saw it in the big game against the Indianapolis Colts on Monday night. And I think this hurt him too. I mean, this is your patented two tight end power game, and Indy came and stuffed it. I mean, watch both of these guys try to get off the ball, and then watch that so-called undersized defense getting Willie Parker for tackles for loss. So when the Steelers are doing it right, which they have been over the last 3 games, they're getting about 40 opportunities of rushing the football. And I think most importantly, their defense on the back end in the secondary holds up early. They've had a couple issues in this one. That's why it's knotted at 14 right now.
14-14, 16 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. Quick pop pass to Vines. Vines dances a little bit. Doesn't get a whole lot. And that will be the end of the first quarter. It started off all Detroit, even though the great special teams plays were from Pittsburgh. 14-14. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Back in Pittsburgh, the Steelers must win today to get into the playoffs.
However, there is one other scenario. If they do lose today and Kansas City loses to Cincinnati, they will still get in as the number 6 seed.
That's right.
Kansas City right now, Ronnie, all tied up at 3 with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Second down and 8. Bryson for a few inside. Tim, you know, this Lions run game has never really materialized this year. Kevin Jones, a disappointing year. Had over 1,000 yards last year. Been out with injuries. And I think when your run game doesn't go, it affects everything else.
No, I'll agree with that. You become one-dimensional, then you're in trouble. And Dick Duran told us yesterday that even if we're not successful with the run game, we're going to keep pounding it because, you know, even when you don't have success, your offensive line gets a feel for what they're doing on defense and then to adjust when you run the same play for the second or third time.
Third down and 5. Plenty of time. Inside, still caught somehow by Roy Williams. An amazing job of concentration. Ike Taylor is involved in the coverage, but he holds on and they move the chains for first.
And here's Roy right here. He's just going to run the square in, going to come this way into the middle of the field. And again, just another perfect throw from Joey Harrington. Ike Taylor is trailing in perfect position to try to get that. Wow. And Joey puts it in a great spot, and Roy Williams keeps his concentration to go get it after the deflection.
Williams in short motion. 8-man front, they're looking for run, and they get run. But a nice job with the run by Kevin Jones. And Roy Williams, much maligned this year. As you see how he stacks up there against the other 2004 draft picks.
Now, one thing to consider is split these guys in half. These guys have some good receivers that they play with, and they're still getting those huge numbers. Roy Williams pretty much by himself. He has had a quad injury that he dealt with this year, but that yards per catch is good. The TDs are okay. The catches way down. That production needs to be up for Roy Williams.
Second down and 3. They'll keep it on the ground. Nice job of avoiding. But then he goes backwards. An update from Sean Alexander. Here's James Brown.
Hey, Ron and Tim, simply amazing. On this run here, NFL single-season rushing record with 28 breaking Priest Holmes' mark, and he now only needs 25 more rushing yards to also be the single-season rushing leader. That is for this season. Chiefs on top of the Bengals, 6-3. We know how important that is to the Pittsburgh audience. Back to Ron and Tim.
Absolutely, JB, and congrats to our good friend Sean Alexander for breaking the records. 3rd down and 2. Quick inside, and it's there. Again, Marcus Pollard. They're going to have to do something about Pollard. That's good enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, I don't think we can talk enough about the decision-making and then the throwing of Joey Harrington, because Pollard's just going to come sit in the zone and turn around in between 3 defenders. Look at all the gold and black around him, and it's an absolute strike. Joey knows where he's going and puts it right on the money. I don't know. I mean, we haven't done too many Detroit games, but this is the best I've seen Joey Harrington play.
Sean Bryson walking off the field. Try to get an injury update on him. Jones pounding his way inside for a nice pickup. Palomalu on the tackle. Let's go down to Jennifer Hammond.
Yeah, you know, guys, Sean Bryson, obviously a very valuable cog in the Lions offense, goes off to the locker room. Looked like he had a problem with his left arm after the last play when he was in. We'll get you an injury update. They're taking him to the locker room now for observation.
And that's big, Ronnie, when you think about all the exotic looks and different blitzes that Pittsburgh throws at you on 3rd down. Bryson is their 3rd down back and pretty good at the pass protection stuff. They'll be limited now in that area.
Blitz pickup. Very key for NFL running backs. 2nd and 5. Play action. Looking deep. Intercepted. No. Palomalu had it. I think Roy Williams did a nice job of playing defense on that play.
Did a great job, because here's Troy Polamalu right over here, and they're going to double Roy Williams on this play. He's going to run a seam right down the numbers, and Troy just keeps going.
Oh.
I think Joey thought he was going to sit on that tight end. Troy kept going. Got right into the throwing lane. Should have had him an interception, but as you said, Roy Williams came over and played terrific defense to bat that ball away from Troy Polamalu.
That's Dick LeBeau's answer to handling the middle of the field now after being gashed a little bit by Marcus Pollard.
Changing the looks up, isn't he, with Troy Polamalu?
Detroit 5 of 6 on 3rd down so far. A deep out for Vines. Vines looks like he didn't get his head around quick enough.
That's the deal on the blitz. Now, if there's going to be a blitz, that receiver better whip the head around. Watch Troy Polamalu here. I mean, last time he was dropping in coverage, they're going to move him all over the place to try to get his pressure package working. You can do that with a guy that is superior in terms of his football IQ, Ronnie. He can go anywhere because he knows exactly where he needs to be at the snap of the ball. Very smart football player is Polamalu.
Harris will try to drop this one inside the 10 or 5. He leads the NFL in dropping the ball inside the 10 or 5. Drops it inside the 15. They'll take that one. Randall L. calls for a fair catch. We are tied here in the new year in the 2nd quarter. Dick Jerome stepping in as the interim head coach. He's 1-3 with the team so far in that capacity. Very, very tough duty for him, and almost a no-win, Tim, as we talked about in the open. You don't know all of your offensive personnel. You've been concentrating on the defense, and he's handling both sides of it right now as we speak. That's why he's got the defensive play sheet in his hand. Trying to head coach and be the defensive coordinator at the same time, having been appointed midway through the season. Parker, for 1 or 2.
You can say this, though. The players have played hard for him. And who knows who the next coach is going to be in Detroit. Dick would love to be that guy. He told us yesterday, I would love to have the job. Talking to the players, I mean, he was a Detroit Lion, did some good stuff there. Was a very good coach in Chicago, coach of the year, all that stuff. And talking to all the players, they said, you know, you talk about a professional and a guy who treats pros like pros. They've really enjoyed now, as rough as it's been, they've enjoyed Dick Jerome at the top of the food chain.
2nd down and 8. Ward in motion. They'll go with the draw. Parker, and Parker is going to be about a yard short of the first down. So many injuries for the Lions, especially on defense. Earl Holmes out, Boss Bailey out. Fernando Bryant, the corner, lost him early.
And there's the linebackers, and this is the big one right here. I mean, Earl Holmes is huge. Teddy Lehman was their nickel linebacker. Really the only guy to be out there for the whole course of the year. James Davis, over there at weak side linebacker, been the only guy that has survived the entire football season out of that linebacking crew.
They had to plug in Wally Rayner. Curry. Throw up top. What a catch, no. And a marker goes down late, intended for Quincy Morgan. He almost made a circus catch. But we're going to have contact from someone.
Goodman just in a press position right here on Quincy Morgan, Ronnie. He's just going to run the go route down the sideline. Goodman's in position the whole way now. He's just running right in his hip pocket.
There are 2 fouls on the defense. Holding, 31, defense. That penalty's declined. Pass interference, 45, defense. That penalty will be accepted. First down.
Well, the first one was R.W. McQuarters, the 3-1, but we think it's 35 Andre Goodman.
I think so.
On that second call.
Where they got Goodman, I think, was putting his hands on Quincy Morgan while the ball was in the air before he had his head turned. Did you see that? He didn't turn and locate the ball until the ball was almost there. He had his hands on the receiver well before that.
So that'll move the chains up. An automatic first down. And the Steelers offense keeps rolling. Parker in the backfield. Quick slant. Can't hold on. Intended for Cedric Wilson. Brought in from free agency. And
what's that body language tell you?
We might have heard some wood chopping. Don't forget, coming up next, our doubleheader action.
This is a perfect throw by Roethlisberger. Cedric's got to catch this point blank. It doesn't get any better. I don't know if he was sniffing LeVar Woods coming over for a face shot, but any way you look at it, you got to catch that football.
2nd and 10. They'll go to the run. Not much. And see, after that drop, and after a low gain here, now you go to a position where you got to put it up. And what did Ben Roethlisberger tell us about the 3rd and anything more than 5? That's a tough down.
For any quarterback. Ronnie, I want you to watch Sean Rogers right here. Pro Bowl on Alan Faneca. This should be a great matchup to watch all day.
Ooh.
Look at how strong Sean Rogers is. You don't see that happen to Alan Faneca very often, where he gets chucked a couple of yards into the backfield.
3rd down and 9. Aaron Haynes checks in the backfield. The dump off. Miller will have to work for it. And what will they give him for the spot? No. They're going to mark it just short. A little bit of a decision time. Ball's on the other side of the 50, 4th down.
You'll see a lot of this with Heath Miller. They run everybody deep and then hit him on the check down because he can run after the catch, hoping he can pick up that first down on Keith Smith, who does a good job of keeping him about a yard short. But that's the deal with Heath Miller now. Not only can he catch, he can block, and I think they've been most impressed, Ronnie, with his ability to have a little wiggle in him after he catches the football and pick up some more positive yards running.
That goes back to what we were talking about, the 3rd, anything more than 5. May not look like a lot, but as you see, a yard short. So they will not gamble. They will punt it away. Godaki angling it. Drummond is deep. Pushes it to the left a little bit. Drummond calls for the fair catch after the 40-yard punt. Roy Williams was big last week. He needs to step up here again. A look at how the rushing game breaks down. 4.3 yards a crack. You can win like that.
You'd think it's backwards. It's not. Detroit is out rushing the Steelers so far in this first half.
As we said, the Steelers come into the game allowing only 3.4 rush. That's #1 in the NFL. Woo. And bring the truck there. Kevin Jones, and he knows it. He just rolled over Chris Hope. brought his own bus to the game.
Hey, give credit to that O-line. They're opening holes. And Jones, once he gets going downhill, boy, you get thigh pads and shoulder pads, and you don't want to tackle that if you're Chris Hope. Jones has got a lot of power once he gets that big body rolling.
9 yards on the ramble. A nice block there by Schlesinger as well, the fullback. 2nd and 2, 2 tight ends. Play action. Dumps it off, can't hold on. Intended for Jones. And you know, Jones had one very good game this year, and that was against the Baltimore Ravens back in Detroit. And he made his name because he ran over the big man, Ray Lewis, and let him know about it. At least Marcus Pollard did. And for a while there, everybody was talking about it.
No, they were, and he's having a good day today. And the injuries, missing 3 of the last 4 games, have been big. Remember him last season? I mean, he was probably the best running back in the last 5 or 6 games of the 2004 year.
1,133 yards on the season rushing. Quick slant, there it is. Vines. And Vines has another Lions first down. 19 yards.
Just a little rub route, a little combo route out on the edge. Mike Williams here is going to take this angle, which is going to pick this corner. Vines comes inside. He's wide open, and Harrington finds him. See, no way could Coakley get back under that with Mike Williams in between him and Scotty Vines. Coaching point, get up and get a jam on number 10, and you'll elude that whole pick move.
Vines, a second-year man out of Wyoming, picked up as a free agent. He's been on and off the practice squad. Bounce outside by Jones and a hurdle, and he's out of bounds at around the 35-yard line.
Forced out of bounds by foot.
If you're Pittsburgh, this is how you want to force Kevin Jones to run all day, sideways. And all that athleticism, that looks good, hurdling a guy there and over the top of Ike Taylor. But if you can get him going sideline to sideline, rather up the field, he's toast because there's too much speed on the defense that can track him down.
Another look at Dick LeBeau, Steelers defensive coordinator. 2nd and long. Vines again. And Vines is going to be about 4 or 5 yards short, and we'll bring up a 3rd down. Ferrier on the tackle.
I think one thing, if you're Pittsburgh defensively, and Detroit's going to keep trying to dink and dunk with this underneath stuff, you got to be punishing tacklers. I mean, start letting those guys know on those crossing routes that if you're going to continue to do that, we're going to start ear holing you and making it hurt. And that's where Ferrier and Polamalu and Larry Foote and those guys on the interior of that defense will come through.
Detroit 6 of 8 on 3rd down today. And there's Joey's numbers on 3rd down. Pressure. Harrington still alive, throws the ball out. A marker goes down as he threw that ball out for Paul Smith. And we're going to get a penalty against Detroit.
Holding, 69, offense, penalties decline, 4th down.
That's Kyle Kozar, the left guard.
And he ends up holding Aaron Smith, who's coming from the opposite side of the field. Here's Aaron Smith here. Watch Clark Haggans press the edge. Smith's going to come here and press Kozar right into the lap of Joey Harrington. He's got nowhere to go. See, Haggans is going to get him to step up. Now he can't step up because Aaron Smith is there pushing Kozar, and that's where the hold was.
Nice swat move there off the line of scrimmage by Haggans. Randall L., he's already taken one back for a touchdown. No Pittsburgh Steeler has ever taken 2 back in one game. He won't get it on that try. Nice open field tackle there by Smith.
Tackled by 38, Keith Smith.
We are still tied here in the 2nd quarter.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the Taco Bell Big Bell Value Menu. To get full-on value, think outside the bun.
Tomorrow, join us for one of college football's most storied bowl games. Some of the greatest sports names ever have taken part in this one. And this year, Texas Tech will battle Alabama in the first ever meeting between these two historic programs. The 70th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern right here on Fox.
There's an old Longhorn right there.
There you go, Sean Rogers. Longhorn is going to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, now those Longhorns are getting ready for that Rose Bowl matchup.
Against
for
your
all the
Trojans.
marbles against USC, you bet.
Is it intercepted? No, I don't think so. Dropped. Kennedy McCanoy almost had it. And Hines Ward, we mentioned earlier, has got that streak.
Second down and 10.
But no catches today and needs 65 yards to go over 1,000 for the 5th straight time. I got a feeling he's going to get his late, though.
Yeah, well, he dropped a touchdown early. He had one hit him right in the face mask early in the first quarter that he dropped.
Yeah, remember that. Miller in motion, 8 men up, looking for run. They get past. Good job on the backside. And that'll go down as a sack. He tried to go to the left. It wasn't there.
Remember we talked about Max Starks playing high on film? You don't play high because this is what's going to happen to you. Watch Corey Redding flip him straight to his back. That's why you don't play high as an offensive tackle. Oh, man.
There it is.
And they should give him that sack for tripping Roethlisberger up as he tried to jump over the top. I mean, that right there should be Corey Redding's sack, not Sean Cody's. Great job by Redding over there at left end.
He wanted to go to the front side, and McQuarters had pretty good coverage. 3rd and 13. Pressure again. He gets it away somehow, but it'll be well short of the first down. So the Lions getting pressure as they dump it off to Baron Haynes, but that'll bring on the punting unit.
There's nowhere to go for Roethlisberger, trying to look downfield, and then Sean Cody beating Kendall Simmons around the corner, up in that B gap. And then Ben just tried to unload that, and that was a risky play now with your back down in your own red zone to try to make a play like that in 3rd and long.
Boy, I tell you, hats off so far to the Detroit Lions, coming in here with the 21st ranked defense in the NFL.
To me, that's got to be a tribute to the head coach, Dick Duran, the way these guys are giving great effort out here today.
Great punt by Verdocki. Drummond goes all the way back. Picking his way. Ball is loose. Looks like they recover. The Steelers recover inbounds. They do. Brad Kiesel, the backup defensive end, comes up with the turnover.
Drummond looks like he's all right. He's just trying to get outside the wall to the left. And then watch the defender come flying in here. Coakley pushes him back in. Pow! That's the one that causes it. And then Kiesel, just before it goes out, reaches out with that right hand and pulls it back in.
That was Chidi Iwoma, the backup cornerback, 29, right there.
Punched it out with his right hand. Kiesel scrambling to get on that bad boy before it goes out of bounds. Special teams have been all over it for the Steelers this afternoon.
Sudden change. They'll run the ball. There it is, Parker. And Parker with a gash. He's got close to 8.
How underrated is Dan Kreider? He won't get any Pro Bowl sniff, but watch 35 get up and lead this play. Faneca to the outside, Kreider right there. And that's a pretty good block, clearing out that linebacker, LeVar Woods. Allowing Parker to get up there and get about 8 or 9 on the carry.
2nd and 2. This is when play action works great. Go with the screen. Gets away from Redding. That's Parker. Parker pushed out of bounds at close to the 10-yard line by Kenoy Kennedy. And that'll be the 2-minute warning. Here come the Pittsburgh Steelers. They need a win, and they know it. Coming up, it's the Visa Halftime Report with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. They'll be along from Los Angeles to get you caught up on all the scores and highlights from around the league, plus the Fox Sports ticker. We'll have the up to the second stats. It's all coming up next. The Visa Halftime Report.
Ronnie, I think the important game, the meaningful game, at least to the Steelers, is what's going on with Kansas City and Cincinnati. Almost halftime there. Kansas City up 13-3 Remember, if they win and the Steelers lose, the Steelers are out. Kansas City's in as that number 6 seed.
1st and 10, full house. They're going with 2 tight ends, 1 wide receiver. Parker looking for a lane. He almost had it. LeVar Woods may have saved the touchdown. And there's a playoff picture in the AFC.
Of course, I just talked about the battle for 6, and then everything else is set with the exception of that. The 3 and the 4 between Cincinnati and New England. And, of course, the 3 seed will play the 6 seed. The 4 seed will play the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are already locked in there at the number 5 spot.
And this is the fight for the 5 and 6 seed. The final 2 positions for the wild card. 2nd down and 3. Bus is in. Diesel. Touchdown. It may be his last game here at Heinz Field. And he's got 2 touchdowns.
And 2 really good blocks. Watch Harding's there. Watch Faneca get out on Keith Smith right there, and it's easy for Jerome. I mean, you get that 270 going forward with good blocks in front of you, you won't even get grass stains on his pants.
4 plays, 37 yards, capped off on a 5-yard touchdown run there by Jerome Bettis. And it's all because of the turnovers. And if you don't think turnovers will get you beat, well, just rewind that play or that series. 21-14 Steelers in front. And if it is his last game here at Heinz, it looks as though he's going out with a very good memory. A guy who's taken a pay cut the last 2 years just to stay on this team.
A big pay cut, substantial pay cut. And he still doesn't know what's going to happen. I mean, the feeling is that this could be it, but he'll sit down as he always does over the last couple of years and address everything and kind of how his body feels. And he told us, I mean, he can't go into a season thinking he's going to get 4 carries. He's got to prepare for that 25 a carry game mentality.
Drummond, who fumbled last time out on the punt, gets hammered at the 15. Sean Morey running down on that one.
Again, the best thing about Jerome, and you know he's 260 plus, is his vision and his footwork. This play's supposed to stay front side of the center. It goes backside. He cuts off that Faneca block, just driving Bracey Walker into the end zone. And the bus. He was supposed to go in front of Harding's there. He just sees the crease up inside, straight downhill. Again, that's like a locomotive. You get him moving. You don't chop down, but below the knees, rarely are you going to get him to the ground.
He handed out T-shirts in training camp that said Super Bowl 40 in Detroit to be the last bus stop. Now, if that doesn't give you a sense of urgency on this team, I don't know what will. Smith not getting a lot of carries on the year. He's taken backwards.
And talking to Coach Cowher the other day, I mean, if they do it, Ronnie, and it is the last stop, it's all got to be on the road.
It's going to be on the road.
And maybe that's something that will be different for them, clearly, but something that will help them. I mean, I know since '94, they've lost 4 AFC championship games right here in Pittsburgh.
Right.
So maybe the road will be better for this team, and the feeling of desperation that they've been feeling over the last month has got their mindset right for a playoff push away from home.
They'll run it again with Smith. And he'll call a timeout. 23 seconds left. Timeout by the Steelers. And you talk about those AFC championship games. January 27th. The New England Patriots. And the Patriots have come in here twice now in the same situation when Pittsburgh thought they had everything locked up. And they've gone home losing.
I think Roethlisberger's a different quarterback now, though. And really, his arm was tired at the end of last season. Any way you slice it, he had issues. When you think about a full college season of 12 games, then you think about preparing for the combine, then you think about the draft, then you think about mini camps, then all the games he played as a rookie in the preseason, then a full NFL season. Right. He was the first to tell you, my arm was dead tired.
He said the big difference is I just got some rest this year. You know, instead of going to bed at 11 and midnight and watching all the late shows, I get into bed fast now. And it's made the difference in the latter part of the year.
Much healthier than he was at this point last year when they had that great 15-1 season.
3rd down and 5. Here comes pressure on the outside. Carter blitzing. Perfect call for it, but Polamalu runs him down. What a play. Aaron Smith recovers, but that's why that man is going to the Pro Bowl for the 2nd straight time.
He is unbelievable. Watch him run under Dominic Raiola with a little rip move. He's here, going to fly under here, going to find the football, chase it down, and then punch it out from behind with his right arm. Right by the center. Now he sniffs the screen the whole way. Watch the speed and the punch. Pow! Right from underneath. Gets the ball out there, then holds the running back away from the football. You don't draw it up any better than that for Troy Polamalu. It was perfect from top to bottom.
Tim, that is one of the best plays I have ever seen a defensive back make.
Perfect from top to bottom.
He did it perfect. Not only did he knock the ball out, you saw he grabbed the jersey so the guy couldn't go anywhere.
First he recognized, then he executed to a T.
And turnovers are killing the Detroit Lions right now. A little high for Hines Ward.
And Ben knew it. Hines was so open, I think he got excited and that ball came out early. When the ball comes out early, it usually floats. See, he's with Hines the whole way. Lets that thing go, came out early up over the top.
And you know, he's one of the few he's one of the few quarterbacks, Tim, that can throw with the gloves on.
Yep. Oh, and he's got a splint on that thumb too now.
Oh yeah, by the way, huh?
Yeah, not just gloves. He's got a splint that's holding that joint in place on his right thumb as well, under the glove.
9 seconds left here, trying to punch it in before the half. Middle of the field, that one's high and intercepted. Bracy Walker looking for the lateral. And it's secured by Detroit. And a marker goes down. Sean Rogers gets the ball. Looked like he's ailing a little bit.
Don't tell me Ben doesn't have arm strength, because this thing had some serious heat on it, and Randall L. couldn't hang on.
It could be an illegal lateral.
Oh, that's what it is. He pushed it forward as Bracy Walker was getting taken down.
After the fumble or interception, illegal forward pass on the returning team, that's an offensive foul. The half is over.
And that is what it is. And like I said, Sean Rogers took a shot there late. But let's look at the play.
Here's Randall L. here, and he's just going to get right down the numbers. And again, this is a perfect throw by Ben. A little high and maybe a little hot. Little stop and go move. One that Randall L. could have certainly caught.
Yeah. Randall L. about 5'10", and there's the illegal lateral. Now there's the hit. I guess
that's
it would be
Sean Rogers got hurt.
Yeah. Harding's flops on the back of his legs.
Boy, that ball had some zip on it right there.
Yes. Almost 2 scores off of turnovers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that is the end of the first half. Pittsburgh 21, Detroit 14. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime report with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. They'll be along with all the scores and all the stuff from around the league, plus an update from that Kansas City-Cincinnati game, which Kansas City is now leading 20-3 in full control. So the Steelers know they better go ahead and take care of business here. Pre-game, the halftime report coming your way. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. We are at the half. Pittsburgh ahead by 7. And, Tim, we know that the Steelers have to have this win to get into the playoffs. They now know it, especially with the way Kansas City is playing out there.
Well, Kansas City's got a comfortable lead, Ronnie, over Cincinnati, so it has become a must-win now for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the second half of this game. And being up 7, if Detroit doesn't turn it up on special teams, it may be a moot point, become something pretty easy, because Pittsburgh has been all over them with the return game. The game got started there with Randall L. with a punt return, then Coakley on a kickoff return, bringing this one deep into Lion territory. And then on a punt, Eddie Drummond on special teams for Detroit fumbles. The Steelers come up with it, able to punch it into the end zone. It's the special teams turnovers and the miscues by Detroit that have been a huge advantage for the Steelers in this one.
Great field position both times here as we close out the first half because of the turnovers. And the first time, the Steelers made the Lions pay. Jerome Bettis comes in and punches it in from 5 yards out. They weren't able to make it work and score on the last one, the last turnover, but we mentioned it going out. Turnovers will get you beat faster than anything in this business, and that's a perfect example. The Lions are just playing their hearts out in the first half.
Especially against a team on the road and a tough venue to play, and Heinz Field is that, and be honest, a superior football team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll tell you this, Joey Harrington has really impressed me in the first half of this football game. His numbers were solid, making the right decisions, making the right throws, and the offensive lineman as well doing a good job in front of him with all that blitz protection stuff, because you know the Steelers send a bunch of guys from a bunch of different places, and the Lions have been pretty good so far in this football game at picking that stuff up.
And you can't say that it's the Arizona Cardinal defense, okay? This is a top-rated playoff caliber defense that he's going up against. Morgan inside the 5. Gets away from one, hurdles out to about the 22-yard line. And a quick look at the first half numbers. They are coming up right now. There they are.
And this is what I referenced with Joey Harrington, and he's really been on the money in the passing game. So you see the total yards, and then this has hurt the Lions.
Yep.
They got away with it on the last one where time ran out on the Steelers, but the one before where Drummond on special teams turned it over, the Steelers capitalized, and that's the difference in this game.
Joey Harrington's got to be your guy right now. 13 of 21 and 175. For the latest in NFL fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com on MSN. 1st and 10. They'll go with the run. Parker hit immediately. Not much going on there. Sean Rogers on the tackle. Let's go down to Jennifer Hammond.
Well, I'll tell you guys, certainly Bill Cowher said that this is where they need to establish themselves on these first 2 possessions of the second half, both on offense and defense. Certainly, he knows that they were lucky with the Lions' mishaps on special teams, but at this point in time, he said we've got to get back to playing our football, and defensively, we got to stop them on 3rd down.
Absolutely.
Somehow, some way, they got to get pressure on Harrington. Significant pressure so he can stop finding his guys in the middle of the field.
Jennifer said the 3rd down conversions have been big all day for Detroit. A bounce outside by Parker. And look how fast he gets going as he gets the 1st down. Finally brought down by Bracy Walker. He picks up 17 yards.
Pretty good block over here by the tight end, Heath Miller. Watch him on James Hall, the big defender. And Heath Miller's the one that's going to create the edge here for the running back. I mean, good squeeze by James Hall, but Heath Miller stays with him long enough, and a good vision read by Parker coming off the backside, cutting that thing all the way back. You see his speed in the open field.
Over 1,000 yards for Parker, the first Steeler running back over 1,000 yards since Bettis in 2001. And he gets another gash there. That's close to 9.
We all talk about the running game and the offensive line, but let's watch the guys out here at receiver and how they block for the running backs. And Hines Ward's got a terrific reputation. Pow, ear hole on R.W. McQuarters. Woo. Creates a nice edge there for the running back.
1,067 yards coming into today's game. 4.7 yard average. He's got 11 carries for 66 yards on the day. You look at Hines Ward's numbers. And that should be an easy 1st down for Parker. Team is 5-0 this year when Parker rushes for over 80 yards. So if that doesn't tell you how important the run game is, I don't know what does.
And remember last year, this guy got discovered in this final game of the season against Buffalo when Pittsburgh played all their backups. Willie who? Yeah, Willie Parker chewed up that Buffalo Bill defense and hasn't looked back. Opened the season up in fine fashion with a 100-yard game, and he's got some heat. That's the thing about Willie Parker. He's one of those 4.25, 4.3 40 guys. As you said, goes from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat.
Runs well behind his pads. That's one thing that the college scouts or the pro scouts are always looking for. See that body lean there at the last minute? And last week he had 131 yards rushing against the Cleveland Browns, and that was the 80-yarder there. I mean, he got through the hole so quick.
And once he gets to the open field, there's not a corner in the league that's going to catch him. And that's the thing. I mean, early on in his career, he was get to the edge, get to the edge. As they taught him in between the tackles, north and south, think 4, get 40, he's responded with a bunch of big games.
Had 161 yards rushing in the opener against Tennessee. And here in Hines. And that's a catch for Hines Ward. And Hines Ward is inside the 5-yard line, brought down by James Davis. 119 consecutive.
And James Davis is here. Here's Hines just going to run the corner route. James Davis gets caught up in play action. He's sneaking into the backfield. We talked about how good and effective that play action is. That's a perfect illustration of it there, as James Davis has to retreat and get back in on the tackle after he got fooled with that play action fake. And there's the streaks alive, baby, for Hines Ward.
And Ward has just gone over the 7,000-yard career receiving mark. Bettis, is he in? Yes! 3 touchdowns on the day for Jerome Bettis. The 3rd time in his career that he's rushed for 3 touchdowns in a single game.
And this is Jerome Bettis just pushing his way in. Gets good blocks from here. Gets good blocks from here from Dan Kreider. The rest is Jerome Bettis. 4 yards out. Him running downhill. Ooh. No. You're not going to stop him. No. The only way you stop him from running downhill is if you go down and check his shoe size and knock his feet out from under him.
You mentioned feet, Tim, watching the film. The one thing that makes Jerome Bettis so good, he's got the quick feet.
Nimble.
You don't see big men with quick feet like that. And you mentioned that earlier. The extra point is good. And the Steelers are rolling. And, of course, the bus is rolling here at Heinz Field.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
How about this for a touchdown efficiency rating? 4 carries today, 3 touchdowns for Jerome Bettis.
No problem. He comes in to do the heavy lifting.
That's what he told us
Friday.
Yeah.
Willie can be the Ferrari and run in between the 20s all day long. When they need the heavy lifting, they bring in the bus. And as he said, he's the old F-150. Just start him up, he'll crank it up and punch his way in, as he did there for the 3rd time today.
He had 3 touchdowns versus Oakland last year and 3 touchdowns versus Arizona back in '97. The return by Drummond cranks it out to about the 36, 37-yard line. The guy's not acting like he's going anywhere. Vintage bus.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Verizon Wireless.
And during the break, the crowd here in Pittsburgh went absolutely nuts over that man, chanting 1 more year. I tell you, Tim, it sends chills up your spine when you see those terrible towels wave around.
It's been a great bus ride for all these Steeler fans for a long time.
1st and 10 for Joey Harrington and the Lions. They'll hand it off to Jones. Jones loses the ball, and it's recovered by Detroit. Kelly Butler, the right tackle, with the recovery. And Jerome Bettis, he knew this may be his last time out, so he comes out with a roar. He goes in early from 1 yard in. This one was from 5 yards out. And mark it from about 4 again.
His footwork looks sweet just coming out in the introduction, doesn't it? Oh, man.
10 years with the Steelers after being traded here from the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams at the time. And when the Pittsburgh Steelers have 11 or more points of a lead, look at their record.
That under Bill Cowher since 1992, and good football coaches know how to coach with a lead. And I think when you look at the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers and how well they've always played defense and how well they run the football, they're built to run and to play with a 2-touchdown lead. Hard to come back on against that defense and an offense that can chew up the clock with a running game.
It's called cranking up that diesel. 3rd and 3. Throw inside. Should be an easy first. It is to Marcus Pollard. Going back to Bill Cowher, averaging 10 wins a year as a head coach.
I think you need to go right upstairs, Ronnie, and go right into Mr. Rooney's office and say congratulations on handling your franchise and your organization the right way with some consistency and some stability.
Is that not class?
That's class, and that's what Bill told us the other day. It all starts with Mr. Rooney upstairs.
1st and 10. Pressure throw. Drop. And Roy Williams has been there before. Harrington can't do anymore.
Can't throw it any better, and this one hits Roy Williams right in the arms, and he can't hang on. You're going to see him. He's going to break inside.
Oh, man.
He just turns and waits for that ball and just looked like he stumbled over his own feet. It was an easy one for Roy Williams, but Ronnie, he's had so many drops this year. He had a couple of huge drops last week early in the game against New Orleans. Redeemed himself late, but some big drops early.
Fitzsimmons sets up in the backfield. He'll run it. Jones looking for the edge. He's got the edge. And about 2 yards short of the first down. Deshae Townsend pushes him out of bounds.
You can see Kevin Jones has got some talent now, and that's why he was drafted so high, and that's why last year in the second half of the season he was running through defenses like they were standing still, because he's got power and he's got speed. And here he'll get the corner on Clark Higgins. Clark Higgins can run, and Kevin Jones gets the edge on him and gets up close to a first down.
13 carries, 57 yards for Jones, a 4.4 average. And you look at the yards per rush there for both teams. A 3rd and short.
Got to find Marcus Pollard again.
Yep. They passed inside for the conversion the last time. Corner blitz on the outside. There it is. First down, Lions. Paul Smith on the play. And Tim, you almost wonder if Joey Harrington isn't getting along better without Steve Mariucci under the new offensive regime, so to speak.
Well, there's no pressure, and Clark Higgins has himself a sack here. He's going to press the corner, but he does not go, Ronnie, for the upfield shoulder of Joey Harrington. When you're a rusher, you hit that upfield shoulder. He came back underneath, maybe held by Kelly Butler, but it allowed Joey to break contain, get outside, make one simple read to Paul Smith. But you're right on Joey. There's no pressure, and he's playing like it. He's out there playing playground football right now, and his numbers show it.
Play action again. Going up the sidelines for Smith. And Smith can't hold on. Covered nicely on the outside there by Clark Higgins, the guy you just mentioned.
That's why when we talk about the 3-4 defense, talk about the nose guard, you talk about the outside linebackers and how versatile these guys have to be.
Right.
Higgins has got 9 sacks on the year. He's one of their better rushers. He'll also take a running back all the way down the sideline on a real wheel route and run step for step with him.
Right.
You've got to be special as an outside linebacker to be successful in this 3-4 defense.
And know how to chew on that mouthpiece right there. 2nd down and 10. 2 tight ends. They'll go with Jones. Reverses field. He needs a block from Harrington. Oh, he got one from Marcus Pollard. And Jones is all the way up to the 26-yard line. Brought down by Brad Kiesel.
Did he ever get one from Marcus Pollard as he reversed field? It's going to come out to the left here. The edge is set well by Joey Porter. Now he's going to turn and run. Watch there. Wow. Clark Higgins by Pollard just lights him up and springs Jones for what ends up being a positive gain. Marcus Pollard's played really well today in both the passing game, exploiting the middle of the field, and that hasn't been his only good block in the game. He's blocked well also.
3rd down and 5. Smith in the backfield. Double clutches. He's going to go for it. He's going to make it. And he gets on the ground. Joey Harrington does it himself and converts the 3rd down. A pickup of 8.
Give the Steelers some credit because they got pretty good coverage down the field. Roy Williams right there. Troy Polamalu jumps on that route. Got Pollard bracketed over there pretty good. And now Joey just takes off. Over on this side, looked like they were running some form of man coverage. The defenders had their backs turned to the quarterback, which gave Joey the opportunity to pick up the first down.
Nice cut there, Jones, and he gets out to the 15. Tackle by Polamalu. Another interesting point Harrington made last night in the meeting. He said, I want to be somewhere and with a coach and a team, and particularly a coach that wants me. So that tells you right there that he wasn't
not only
Steve
a coach,
Mariucci's
but
guy.
players that want him and believe in him. And Joey doesn't feel that. He said there's a big part of him that wants to finish the job here. There's also a big part of him, Ronnie, as you said, he wants a fresh start somewhere else.
2nd down and 7. Dropped, and maybe it's a good thing that one was dropped. Jones can't hold on.
How good has Troy Polamalu been as a Pittsburgh Steeler? Of course, coming out of USC as a #1 draft pick, and I know Troy pretty well. You won't find a better guy, and here's all the Pro Bowls for Pittsburgh. But Troy, I talked about this a little bit earlier. He's so intelligent. His football IQ, Ronnie, is through the roof.
Yeah.
And he's got all the physical talent to go with it. He's got 9 tackles today. You put the intelligence with the ability, and you got yourself a Pro Bowl player in Polamalu.
3rd and 7. They only bring 4. Ball's up. Roy Williams, he catches it. Yes, touchdown.
Hey, what do you say, Roy?
I say 6 points.
Finally, they get the fade route right from Joey to Roy. Pretty good protection, just bringing a 4-man blitz, and then Roy is going to get out behind McFadden. Oh, that's not good at all. I mean, he sat down on the flat and tried to think Chris Hope was going to get over there to play the fade. Bad move out there by McFadden, the corner. That's a mental error by number 20 that allowed Roy Williams to go up for the easy touch on the fade.
And they've had problems in that part of the field all year long.
That's rookie play by McFadden is what it is.
The Lions are impressive today. You can't deny it. They keep fighting back. 28-21, Steelers in the lead. We're back as we look at the points today by the Lions. The most points scored on the road this season. They came into the game averaging 14.5 points a game. So Pittsburgh's 22.1. And like I said earlier, Steeler fans are saying, yeah, great, of course. The one day we need to win. The one day we need a team to come in here and lay down. They do anything but lay down. Morgan's going sideways. That's usually not good. And he's out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Joey Harrington may be having a career day. A heck of a day for Joey Harrington so far. 16 of 27 for 207 and 3 touchdowns.
Look at the rating.
He threw 3 touchdowns versus Arizona back in November. That was a home game. Of course, Arizona struggling the whole year, so people kind of wrote that one off, but you can't write this one off.
No, he's playing terrific, and let's give Greg Olson a little credit, too, the offensive coordinator, play caller, calling a good game.
Roethlisberger on the move. Throw back inside. A nice adjustment on the ball. Looks like Antoine L. It is. He came back for the ball, and that was all the difference in the world. And going back, what do you think the difference is, Tim?
I just think he's got some confidence with his receivers. Ronnie, this isn't Joey Harrington. We got to there's the Joey Harrington that's red hot with the quarterback rating. Maybe it's the beard.
With the beard?
Maybe that's what he's doing different.
It's the thing nowadays. You know, Jake Plummer's got it going on out in Denver, and look what happened to him.
The scruff. Kyle Orton.
I'm going to grow
in Chicago.
Scruff.
No, you're not.
This guy needs no extra scruff. Parker. Gracie Walker coming down with the hit.
I think you need to wonder, though, and yes, it's one performance, and you just saw the quarterback rating for Joey over the last 4 seasons. Is it salvageable in Detroit?
Right.
I think you need to ask that question based on what he's shown out here today against one of the better defenses in all of pro football that have something to play for. I mean, it's not like this is not a must-win now for Pittsburgh. Kansas City's up 27-3. The Steelers have to win this bad boy to get into the postseason. And Joey's chewing them up.
2nd down and 6. Ooh, nice hit, and Parker going to be about a good full yard short of the 1st down.
LeVar Woods has come in and played pretty well, Ronnie, the middle linebacker. I think he was signed sometime in November, and this is your Mike linebacker right in the middle, and watch him just flow to the football. Just a good read, keeping square, getting down, shuffling down the line of scrimmage, and scrapes over the top to get himself a tackle. He's been active now since he got into the starting lineup for Earl Holmes.
Spent some years out in Arizona. You saw the number there on 3rd down for Pittsburgh. They'll go inside to the big man, no question about it. And Tim, you go back to what's happened to the Steelers in the playoff game, particularly the AFC Championship game right here. They haven't been able to stop the big passes, but they've always been able to run it.
That's one thing. And watch the offensive lineman finish blocks. I mean, Harding was beat right there, but he does enough to Marcus Bell that he gets him on the ground too. Opens up the lane for Jerome. You see those linemen getting to the 2nd level and opening it up for the running back.
I mean, that truly is coming in and doing the heavy lifting. They get the 1st down. Parker checks back in. They dust off the Ferrari, put air in the tires, and here we go.
Well, that's what Jerome said. He said, man, he looked at Willie when he hurt his ankle several weeks back and said, see, that's why you're a Ferrari. You get a little nick, you got a bad ankle, they got to put you in the shop. You got to get a tune-up. They got to do some body work on you. I'm an F-150, man. My whole body's broke up. I just get out there and play. F-150.
10 rushes and only 2 passes so far in the 2nd half for the Steelers. Lions loading up for run. They'll get a pass. Seam throw. Miller. And their stud rookie takes it all the way down to the 8-yard line.
How crafty is Heath Miller as a rookie? Watch him here, Ronnie, and he's just going to run out and get right behind the linebacker right here. He gets behind Dante Curry in front of the safety, and Ben drops it right on the money. You don't run a better route than that as a tight end. Not enough depth by Curry. And Heath Miller, I mean, this is a guy that, as a rookie, is reading coverage on the run. That's pretty impressive.
Best numbers ever by a Steelers rookie tight end. Came into the game with 36 catches for 397 yards. That's the bus. First-round pick this year out of Virginia. Came out an early junior eligible, as they say, and the one thing they liked about him, not his catching ability, but Tim, you may have brought this up, his blocking ability. The guy's a great blocker.
He's not one-dimensional, which keeps the defense guessing. You don't know if it's a run or a pass. That's a feather in his cap. And Al Groh taught him well. Let's remember the coach at Virginia and all the pro experience at Al Groh and taking that pro scheme there. Heath Miller was taught the right way.
They say he's very good in the red zone. He splits out to the bottom of your screen. Empty backfield. Ball better come out quick. Or Roethlisberger better come out quick. Roethlisberger might take this in. He scores! Ben Roethlisberger didn't like the coverage, didn't like the plan, and he says, I'll take this one. We don't need the bus here.
Let me tell you what keeps it alive for Ben Roethlisberger, Ronnie. It's the fact that he never gave up on the possibility of throwing the football. Kept his eyes down the field, flashed his hand up. It held R.W. McQuarters for a second, which allowed Ben then to get the edge on McQuarters. He couldn't recover, and he punches it into the end zone.
Third rushing touchdown on the year for Ben Roethlisberger. He's fought through the thumb. He's fought through 2 knee issues. And for a while there, it looked as though he wouldn't be able to make it back out in the field in time for the Steelers' playoff push. But he has. He's been a part of a very big offense so far that's taking care of business. Perfect play drive, 8 plays, 82 yards. And the Steelers in the red zone today also perfect.
I wonder if Ben got a little nicked up, because that's the medical staff over there talking to him. After the touchdown, he came right to the bench and sat down, and certainly in a conference with the medical people with the Steelers.
Oh, and everybody's dancing now. We had a quick shot of the Steelers kickoff team. When those guys are dancing, you know things are going good. But you know you can't pull him. Game relatively close. They haven't been able to slow down, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Joey Harrington and the Lions offense. Drummond with a lane. Gets inside. Strings it out to about the 34-yard line. Let's go back to that touchdown and a very nice pump fake.
Well, and I told you, because here's R.W. McQuarters right here. Ben is going to get it. He's ended up breaking contain. McQuarters is going to flow to go make the tackle, and as soon as Roethlisberger, as he's keeping his eyes down the football field, watch McQuarters now. He's going to look, a little bit of a pump fake, gets him up in the air, gives him this entire crease, and Ben's able to get the touchdown. See, if McQuarters doesn't jump there, he cuts off the angle on Roethlisberger, and then Sean Rogers gets a payoff for all of his pursuit. That was all Ben Roethlisberger there, making it happen with his eyes and his arm, and then finishing it with his legs.
They're still talking it over. The health issue for Ben Roethlisberger. Harrington. He'll throw one outside to Schlesinger. Balamalu on the coverage. A pickup of 5.
I think if you're Dick LeBeau and the defense now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, as you said, Ronnie, have had big problems with Joey Harrington, is you try something a little bit different. I'd start jumping into some more man coverage. I mean, Joey has chewed up that zone, and that's what he told us on yesterday, as a matter of fact, that he said all that pressure they bring, it's all good, but if we can pick it up, there will be some voided zones, and I'll find them. Maybe a little wrinkle with some man coverage from LeBeau.
And LeBeau is considered the architect of that zone blitz defense. And that architect almost had an interception. Larry Foote couldn't quite hold on.
Here's Larry Foote right here. He's going to drop, and then he's going to read it, and just, as we call it, an undercut. He's going to read the quarterback's eyes right there. Knows he's going to release it. Should have had it. Because if he gets a block from Porter right there, he maybe walks into the end zone from about 38 yards.
Detroit 10 of 14 on third down today. 3rd and 5. This has been the thorn for the Steeler defense. They do a zone blitz. Harrington's in trouble. And he knew it when he took off, too. No place to go. That is the end of the third quarter. Pittsburgh 35, Detroit 21. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages. Lyrics by Madonna. The run game by the bus.
The wheels on the bus go round and round by Madonna. Tell me he doesn't have fun playing the game of football, and always has from day one.
But you get
coming
that
out of
as
Notre
soon
Dame.
as he comes into the meeting room.
You do.
The guy loves to play. Yeah, he didn't like what went on out in L.A., and they drafted him number 1. Cleveland Gary was the big running back then. And he said he got no love from Cleveland Gary whatsoever. And he said, I never wanted that to happen to another rookie coming into the league.
And there's a multitude of rookies that he's helped out. And namely, a guy right now in his second year, Willie Parker, who's really benefited from being and playing with Jerome Bettis.
First play in the 4th quarter here in the season finale. They'll punt it away. Fair catch called by Randall L. Let's go down to Jennifer Hammond for this report on Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger going back out, guys. He was sitting on the bench for a bit, talking with trainers, looking at that left thumb. But at this point in time, it appears that he's fine to play. Charlie Batch sitting next to him, chatting with him a bit, but he's got his helmet on, and he's going back out.
So now it's the left thumb that they're worried about. They're worried about the right thumb.
Right.
And talking to him in pregame, he wears the splint, and he wears the glove, and he does have a piece of a broken bone on that right thumb. Said, Ben, you'll be all right, the coaches and the trainers. You'll be all right throwing. Just don't fall on that right thumb, please. So he says, what do I do? Fall on my shoulder? What's worse?
What's worse?
Now the left thumb's bothering.
And mind you, the Steelers, if they get in, there will be no break. There will be no rest. And this guy never looks for a rest. Willie Parker with a big gash. That's good for 21 yards. He has gone over the 100-yard mark.
You want to know why Jeff Hardings is going to the Pro Bowl? Watch him take Sean Rogers there and then peel the linebacker and get him too. Remember I was talking about, that's on Wilkinson there, but remember I told you how these guys get to the second level? And he did that time on James Davis. Taking care of the center, chipping down on him, getting to the second level, opening up that big lane for Parker.
Parker again for a couple. Stay tuned after the game. Game 2 of our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. Going to the NFC East battle. Washington looking to cement that playoff spot against the Eagles. Or the Bears taking on the Vikings.
And it looks like Dallas is going to hope that those Eagles will lose the game, because Carolina, it doesn't look like they're going to lose, Ronnie. They're up 34-3 on Atlanta right now, just kicking their butts. And, of course, Dallas needs the Redskins to lose or Carolina to lose with a win if they can squeeze in as a wild card.
Remember, 4 will go plus 2 more wild card spots, and those wild cards will play right away. They'll play the first week, which is next week. A nice tackle in the backfield by James Hall.
Talked about the injuries at linebacker, the injuries at secondary for Detroit. You know, they've had some up front. Sean Rogers missed a couple games, as has James Hall this year with a bad groin. And he's a good player. I mean, he's one of those guys that's underrated, was undrafted coming out of Michigan. Played really good his first 3 or 4 years, was given a new contract. He earned a new contract. Not very big, but plays with good leverage and is a smart football player. They missed him for a portion of the year this year on defense.
A 3rd and long. Then on the run. Throws back inside. Can't hook up with Ward. And even though they missed that one, I think Roethlisberger throws across his body better than anybody in the league.
Well, he's big and he's strong. And, I mean, you never throw back across your body to the middle of the field. We see Ben do it every couple games. Saw him do it last week for a big completion. And they're just a little short on Hines Ward. You know, he's very good and always has been since he got in the league. When he rolls to his right, you can't give up on Ben Roethlisberger because he's still got that big arm and he's got running ability to go with it.
Drummond back deep, standing at the 20-yard line. So Docky, the left-footed punter. Ball spinning the other way. That ball's hard to catch and no place to go for Drummond. Ricardo Coakley on the tackle. 38-yard punt, a loss of 4.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Chevrolet and American Revolution. By Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. With Visa's multiple layers of security, you're protected. By Michelob Ultra, live life to the ultra. And by State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We are back in Pittsburgh. Happy New Year to everyone.
You know what it looks like to be a strong safety facing that going down the hill? That's like looking at Jerome coming downhill at you. You're not going to stop that.
Lions will go to the run. And you know, the run, surprisingly, Tim, has been there all day for the Lions. That's Jones for at least 5. And the playoff picture once again in the AFC. You see the 4 leaders on the left. The fight is for 2 wild card spots, basically, between the 3 other teams.
New England down right now 18-13 to Miami. And, of course, Cincinnati getting drilled 30-3 by Kansas City. So that one's still up in the air for that number 3 or 4 spot.
And that would be actually between 2 other teams, really, Pittsburgh and Kansas City now. 2nd down and 3. Jones will have another first down. Would it concern you, Tim, if you're Dick LeBeau, that you haven't been able to stop the run better in this game? And amongst other things, like Joey Harrington throwing through your zones.
Yeah, no, I'd be concerned if I was Dick LeBeau, because you can't turn it on and turn it off. And this defense has been, I mean, you talk about the last 3 games. They've given up 12 points in the last 3 games, 21 in 2.5 quarters, and now into the 4th quarter against Detroit. and the rushing yards. I mean, Pittsburgh has gotten it cranked up, but as you said, Kevin Jones and the Lions have had good success, I think, because Joey has been effective through the air.
And now Detroit over 100 yards rushing. That one incomplete. And you touched on it earlier, Tim, about going on the road. The Steelers on the road this year finished a regular season 6-2. So maybe after the 3 AFC championship games here and the losses, going out on the road will give them a new sense of urgency.
And look at that. And Coach Cowher just really made sure to mention that when we were talking to him, that maybe, as you said, a little change of pace, a change of venue. And he said something about this team and the character on this team. When we go on the road, we feel we're up against it and we come out fighting.
2nd and 10. That throw intended for Fitzsimmons, and it's a little high. Cowher also mentioned it last year toward the end because they had the great run, went 15-1. They locked it up early. Sometimes that's a curse because the sense of urgency wasn't there. We're sitting around. The wins had come fairly easy. The guys didn't have that hunger and that nastiness.
Well, after the Cincinnati game, when they dropped their 3rd straight, they said they were faced with something they haven't felt here in a long time, that it was desperation. We may not make the playoffs. We better get it right, and they have.
And that's when the turning point happened. 3 wins in a row after that. Pressure backside, and it's incomplete. Intended for Vines. We're talking about that turning point game against Cincinnati. And, you know, Cincinnati had it turned up at that point. Chad Johnson doing the talking. TJ Houshmandzadeh doing the playing.
I just get the feeling with Cincinnati, and I don't know about you, but maybe they've already achieved their mission. You know, a team that doesn't have a lot of playoff experience and everything that they've enjoyed this year, and they've played good football. But, boy, if the Steelers can keep it close with them with their inability to stop the run, watch out. I like the Steelers.
Randall L. calls for the fair catch on the 35-yard punt. 35-21, Pittsburgh in control.
Happy New Year from the Rock and Ron Show.
Did you see Bubba? Like a quarterback having a bad day. Just couldn't pull the trigger.
Terry Wallace, how you doing out there, buddy? A little cold? Doing a great job for us? No? Happy New Year.
Go Skins. He had to get that in, didn't he? Nice job, T.
First and 10 for the Steelers. They'll go back to the run game. And Willie Parker, another member of our core crew. The guy was in the booth with us all the time. Then he toggles from the booth outside, back and forth. Grant Dobbins.
He's everywhere.
I believe Grant.
You look good up here, Rob.
Yeah, that's right. That's not easy. I believe Grant's a Giants fan. Right? Okay.
You got that
Since
right.
we got the Redskins out there, let's get the Giants. Let's get the whole NFC East while we're at it. 10:36 and counting here in Pittsburgh. Steelers in control after a rough start. The Lions came out roaring, so to speak, but turnovers have been the difference. 2 turnovers have led to points for the Steelers as Parker fights his way close to a first down. He'll be about a yard short.
Boy, he's got speed, doesn't he? I mean, he is at full speed within his 3rd step. They're just going to run a little stretch here, and he's going to be behind Kreider here, who gets a good block for him. But watch how fast Willie Parker gets to the edge. Kreider could barely get on his guy, and Willie was already on his hip and by him. Some serious jets for Willie Parker.
See Parker's numbers on the day.
Number 6 on the year.
3rd down and 1. And guess who's in the game? Toot that diesel. James Brown. How would you like to have to tackle that, JB?
Hey, Ron, I think I'll leave that up to you and Tim. You know a lot more about it than I do. As you take a look at Mark Brunell, quarterback who's been on fire for the Redskins, and, of course, his favorite target, Santana Moss, who needs only 37 more yards to break Bobby Mitchell's franchise receiving yards record. The Skins, a do-or-die game win, and they're in the postseason. Back to Ron Pitts and Tim Ryan.
Yeah, buddy, JB, like my partner says, That's when you get down there and check the shoe size. Parker for a couple. 5 career Pro Bowls for Jerome Bettis. And boy, this is the sight you don't want to see. This is every DB's nightmare. And you know, some guys, when they walk into the room, they don't look as big as they look in full uniform, obviously, but the guy looked every bit as big.
He's listed at 255. There's no way he's 255.
260.
But he carries it well.
He carries it well.
And he's up on his toes. You see the calves on him now?
Yeah.
I mean, you can understand why he's got all that mobility on the bottom end. He's just got a couple of bricks back there for calves.
2nd and 7. Outside corner. This is trouble with this guy. And Parker's got it, but a marker goes down at the 40-yard line. You know, they've gone from the bus and a plow horse to incredible speed on the perimeter and even inside with Willie Parker.
Holding. 80. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That'll be Cedric Wilson.
Andre Blythe, who's playing with one arm. Dre's got this cast on the wrist. You see it there. Cedric's going to just get out and try to block him. Keep a body on a body for Willie Parker. Let's watch his hands if they're outside the framework. Oh, Dre was calling for a hold before Cedric even held him. Tic-tac call over there on Cedric Wilson.
Cedric Wilson brought in from free agency from the San Francisco 49ers. Got a nice little paycheck there coming in.
He's yet to get in the end zone, Ronnie, but has had some nice plays. And you look at his yards per catch average, it's up there pretty good here for the Steelers.
Making about $2 million a year as a guy who's really considered the 3rd wide receiver. The flip 90. Parker almost dropped the ball. Gets necktied by Kenoy Kennedy, and they want a marker. No marker will go down. And the offensive leaders on the day. That guy there, certainly one of them, as you see his numbers. Not huge, but the big man, I think, is Willie Parker with 119 yards rushing.
Give a lot of credit to that offensive line up front, too. There hasn't been consistent pressure on Roethlisberger all day long, and then it's obvious by those numbers there for Willie Parker that the guys up front, including the tight ends, have blocked well at the point of attack.
Steelers are 29-0-1 in their last 30 games when a running back goes over 100 yards. Intercepted. Goodman, Andre Goodman with the pick. His 3rd interception of the year.
Roethlisberger's pass intended for Morgan.
Ronnie, if you're out at wide out and you're playing that X receiver on the line of scrimmage and you got a slant, you better get inside leverage. And Morgan never gets it from Goodman. He tries, Goodman undercuts it. Roethlisberger was staring it down the whole way.
Andre Goodman with the timely interception. He'll give the Lions one more shot for all intents and purposes here for the 2005 season. They'll go to the run. Palomalu is standing right there for the run. A pickup of 2.
You'll see Troy Polamalu do this a lot. He'll start back, and then right before the snap, he'll move up and become that 8th guy in the box. Here he is right here. As the ball's getting ready to snap, he'll come up, he'll come up, he'll come up. The ball's snapped, and he's in perfect position to make the tackle. Unblocked.
Second down and 8. Empty backfield. 3-man push. There it is. Williams. And Williams is running. Roy Williams down to the 40-yard line. Palomalu finally brings him down.
He got Clark Haggins just spun around. Clark thought he was going out. Guessed on the route. Here's Haggins right here. Roy's going to shake him and come inside.
Offense going forward at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
A marker went down late. Legal motion on the Lions. Wipes it out.
Kevin Jones, Ronnie, moving a little bit forward. You go in motion, you got to keep it flat until the ball snaps. You lean even a little bit forward.
The game clock is 6:02.
They're going to call you for illegal motion. And here he is. Does he move forward? He definitely went forward. And that's an easy call right there by the line judge. Oh, that hurts.
2nd and 13. Bryson won't get much. A gang of black shirts, and that's one thing that LeBeau has taught ever since his years back in Cincinnati as a secondary coach and coordinator. Run to the football.
Dick LeBeau was a great pro football player.
Yes, he was.
Not just good, he was terrific. Had a good long career, and I thought it was interesting watching all the Steelers come into the stadium today. To a man, they all had on 44 LeBeau jerseys.
That's amazing.
From Detroit.
Is that not the ultimate in respect? In fact, talking to Dick Jerome about that last night, he actually played for LeBeau back in the 80s in Cincinnati. Played there the Super Bowl year. 3rd and 11. And it's knocked away. James Ferrier on the coverage. Harrington started off hot, but just 2 of his last 9.
I'm glad you mentioned Dick Duran playing for Dick LeBeau, because we asked Dick yesterday, I said, do you want to come in and play spoiler? He goes, no. I just want to win the game. I mean, playing spoiler and spoil with, for Dick LeBeau. He goes, Dick's one of my best friends. I played for him. I don't want to spoil anything for those guys. So all that stuff's overrated. I just want to come and win a football game for my guys.
Exactly. They'll punt it away. Randall L. He's going to have a hard time getting to this one, and very wisely leaves it alone. Rolls out of bounds. 41-yard punt, no return. Just under 5 minutes here in Pittsburgh. We are winding down the 2005 season. And it's a happy new year so far for Pittsburgh, because with a win here, they will go to the playoffs. They will be the wild card seed.
Vintage Steeler football in the second half of this game. And they played good defense, and they just pounded it with the running game.
And they'll go back to that pounding, and Parker almost broke that one loose. And we want to continue to give thanks to our guys down in the truck. That's Bud Bray. That's how you doing there, Bud.
Budley.
Damian Tinsley with the nice smile, the Stanford grad. As we move on down.
Okay. Hi, Mom.
Eddie Shabe, how you doing there, Itch?
Happy New Year.
And Joe Marinas.
Joe, Happy New Year, buddy.
Thank you guys all for an outstanding job throughout the year. Things get a little testy down in that truck sometimes, don't they? Not as easy as everybody thinks. 2nd down and 2. They'll go back to the run. Quick look at the game summary. Lions have been very good on 3rd down. They've run the ball. Joey Harrington's been great, but the turnovers got him in trouble.
And look at the red zone production by the Steelers. You tell me, as Bettis is coming back into the game, the crowd going nuts on a 3rd and short. Tell me the ability to have a running game in the red zone doesn't pay off. They're 4 for 4 with that balance.
Boy, but Tim, as the crowd goes nuts for Bettis, you feel the history when you walk through the franchise, when you walk through the facility. The 4 Super Bowls, 5th oldest franchise in the NFL, founded back in '33 by the Chief, Mr. Art Rooney. Originally named the Pittsburgh Pirates back in the day. They were members of that old Eastern Division, one of 10 teams in the NFL. The team now, of course, run by son Dan Rooney, but just so much history, so much pride and
tradition.
You can feel it.
Yeah, it's bred into all these players, these people around here. I mean, football is it. It's the fabric of what goes on in Pittsburgh. It's a great venue. I mean, you look overhead with the 3 rivers all converging here at night. I mean, you just won't find a better atmosphere for a football game.
Only 2 head coaches since 1969. Chuck Noll went from 69 to 91, and in steps Bill Cowher, and he's been there ever since. And they continuously show up in championship games. The bus, and what did you expect? He not only epitomizes the franchise and what they're about, but what everybody in the NFL should be about. Antoine Randall L. He started off with the long punt return for a touchdown. But the Lions came back. We said Harrington, very sharp today. The turnovers helped get the bus going a little bit. And then they came back late here with the touchdown throw to Williams. You saw Roethlisberger do one on his own. Hurt himself a little bit there, nicked himself up. But, man, when you see the bus and you see him line up and you know that this may be his last time here at Heinz Field, gives you a very special feeling.
Spending time with him and just hanging out and talking to the head coach and the players and just being around the facility. And we've spent a lot of time with the Seattle Seahawks this year, and I get the feeling a lot like Seattle is these guys genuinely like being around each other. I mean, you don't have any bad apples on the roster. Guys hang out off the football field. You got to kick them out of the facility at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
They're in early, cutting the lights on. This group, and again, from Mr. Rooney to Cowher to the last guy on this roster, these guys understand the commitment in terms of what being a quality pro franchise is all about.
And hopefully Bettis joining the list of the other Hall of Famers here in Pittsburgh. Art Rooney Sr., inducted in '64. Son Dan Rooney, inducted in 2000. Chuck Noll in '93. Going back to some of the greats, Johnny Blood McNally, Ernie Stoutner, and of course our own Terry Bradshaw. With that list of the more current players, along with Lambert, Jack Lambert, the linebacker, and Franco Harris.
How about Coach Cowher taking us into his office and showing us his first contract? He's got it framed up on the wall with a whopping $1,000 signing bonus.
That was from
what was
Cleveland.
it after taxes?
$717 after taxes. He did like I did in my first check. I went back upstairs and said, hey, you guys made a mistake. They said, no, that's just income tax.
Look at that vintage Steeler ball right there. 29 rushes, 30 rushes, 5 passes now in the second half of this game.
I'm serious about what I said earlier. If I'm a Steelers player and the bus is talking about retiring as the Lions take their final timeout, I think I want to convince him to stay around because he means everything to your team on the field and in the locker room. One more look at the playoff picture.
Ronnie, and how it'll work. These two sit home with a bye, of course, and then 5 will play 4. 6 will play 3. Of course, 3 and 4 aren't locked up yet. If the Steelers win this one, 5 and 6 will be, with Jacksonville locked in at a 5. And, of course, the Steelers with a victory, no matter what Kansas City does, will have achieved that 6th spot, that 6th seed as a wild card team.
And the cheers go up here big time for the bus. They just ran a little thank you on the Jumbotron for Jerome. And listen to this crowd.
You got a yellow towel? I feel like waving one, man.
I'm sure we can find one here somewhere.
Boy.
13 years in the NFL. Over 1,300 yards rushing. Third down and 2. They'll go to Haynes. And Haynes is going to pick up the first. And Jerome Bettis on the day, we said he's known for doing the heavy lifting. Not the pretty stuff. Take your helmet off, put the trucker's hat down, and go to work. And he went to work. 1, 2, 3 touchdowns on the day for Jerome Bettis. And oh yeah, he had to truck a DB or 2. It wouldn't be right if he didn't do that. 7 touchdowns in the last 5 games for Jerome Bettis, with the 3 today.
Giving a bow to the Pittsburgh faithful. Now that's another thing too. We talk about them going on the road. This team travels better than anybody in pro football.
They do.
Wherever they are, you'll see 20,000 Steeler fans in the stadium. Whether they're getting the tickets on eBay or where they're getting them, somebody's selling them. The Steelers are buying them, and they're getting out to support their team on the road. They do an awesome job of traveling.
And the big key, as we said earlier, winning the last 3 games after the Cincinnati loss here at home, 31-38, the turning point game. They took care of Chicago, a good team, went to Minnesota, went to Cleveland. 2 road wins in a row. And they won't get a break as a wild card seed. They'll have to play next week. Dick LeBeau saying, hey, man, thank you. That's one player to another player. Haynes pounding it through, going backwards. Our video engineer as we go back to the truck, Bubba Campbell. How you doing, Bub? Got to work on those poppers, huh, Bubba? Brad and Jay in our videotape. How you doing, guys? Thanks for the work. Thanks for the help all year long.
Great job, guys.
Nice. That is the 2-minute warning as the Steelers try to close this one out here on New Year's Day. We're back with the bus and the rest of our crew. Mark Butler down in the truck in the audio department there.
Rock and roll, Mark Butler.
And our man Bob Charlap handling the field audio.
Looking good, Bob.
Who has his special chair, his personal chair every week. And that's the minivan. Deron Haynes. 187 plus yards rushing today for the Steelers. As you look at Marvin Cale, our technical director. An easy day today for Marvin.
Big Marv.
Mike Roy.
Roy Gay.
With the stopwatch in one hand, a stopwatch. Was that a candy bar in the other hand?
Hi, Liz.
What are they doing?
Time winding down here in Pittsburgh. And this is the old victory setup.
That's how you protect your quarterback. You put your star linebacker back there in the victory formation to protect him. D-Mac pushing the buttons down there. Damian McGavick, thank you very much. And our director, Peter Bleckner. Peter.
And the guy that makes it all happen. Without this guy, it would never happen. That's Ray Smoltz.
Raymond, thanks for everything, bud. It's been another super year. It has.
Thank you all for all your hard work and determination throughout the season. We close out another outstanding year here at Fox. And that should be it. So the Pittsburgh Steelers with the win cement the playoff spot. And Jerome Bettis, 3 touchdowns in his final game, possibly, here at Heinz Field. And that is the final here. The Steelers have wrapped it up. For Ron Pitts, Tim Ryan, Jennifer Hammond, we say so long and a happy new year to all of you. Right now, let's go to James Brown in Los Angeles.